A lot of people checking out Airbnb. What a great website. What a lucrative way to do business. How does it compare to residential rentals regular, for example, on realestate.com.au?
I'm the ringleader, so listen up.
Way. Morning.
Hello, Billy. How are you?
I'm good.
This is your topic.
You know, off air, I was telling you my mood was getting better and better. I think I'm pretty happy this morning now. This is my topic.
It is your topic, and you're doing a bit of Airbnb at the moment.
Yeah. So I actually had this this decision to sort of weigh up. I was thinking, normal rentals versus Airbnb. Let me give Airbnb a go, and I have to say it's been surprisingly easy. It's a very, very consumer sort of integrated app, super easy process. You don't need to be, a wizard at all to run this stuff. And I think it's left a bit of a debate on the table. Is Airbnb just as, lucrative, competitive, maybe even better than a normal rental on realestate.com?
Massive. And what do you reckon? How's it been going for you with Airbnb? So just to fill everyone in, Billy's bought a property. Billy's living at the property, but for the next 3 to 6 months, he's going to be doing a bit of Airbnb while he's there. How's it been for you? What's been the reality? So just to model it, your property, neutral bay, one better.
Yeah. I mean, easy one better. I was lucky that I got a bit of furniture with it, so we did a bit of a deal with the guy selling it. It was set up to go as is. He pretty much left, from the bed to the knife and forks. So everything was there. It's been ready to go since day one. So I got on the app, set things up. Like I said, so easy. I couldn't quite believe how user friendly it was. And now I'm in a position where I've got my first booking last night, and it's like, wow, this actually could work and generate a bit of money for the time that I'm not there and help supplement the mortgage.
And so I guess people are used to a conventional rental. It's a 6-month lease or it's a 12-month lease. You put on realestate.com, for example, you put in the hands of a real estate agent, for example. Both models you can put in the hands of a real estate agent. And that was the conventional model where it was not furnished. So the ingoing routine was fairly pretty easy to do, frictionless. And then you've got a tenant there for 6 months, 12 months, and it's quite easy to manage. The attraction to Airbnb for everyone is the money, because when you actually multiply out the tariff per night for 365 days a year artificially, you go, you know what, that's huge money if I could do that. So there is a lot of hope there that people are buying when they have the ambition of going onto Airbnb. The reality of what happens is varied.
Yeah. We spoke about the hours that go into it, not only setting it up, but then you've got to make sure it's ready for Airbnb. So whether that be if that's your normal home, then you've got to remove certain pieces of furniture, the sentimental stuff. Fortunately for me, mine was sort of ready to go, so I didn't have to worry about that. But I can imagine setting it up physically and then online as well. I mean, that's time consuming enough. You have to purchase an STRA number, which is like what's now required for a short-term rental. So there's,
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's certain pre-costs associated with just getting it going in the first place, and your time. And Mark and I were talking off air, where do you as a landlord value your time at, as in dollars? For someone like me, young, I can try and juggle both. But if you're an executive and you just need constant income to help pay the mortgage, where do you value your time at? Because it might not be worth it.
So when you're running an Airbnb, guys and girls, there's two things you're doing. You're running almost like a concierge service, and you're being a landlord. So there's two elements you got to consider when you're running in a realestate.com section, like a style of rental. You're really just a landlord, and you can sort of you're a bit. It's less labour intensive because you're not running the concierge service. The concierge service is running 24 hours a day. If that person can't get a internet service running, if they can't use a remote, they often will reach out to the concierge style service of Airbnb that you will be, or your agent you will be. And by the way, I'm removing agents out of this section because you can choose to use an agent when you're on realestate.com or not. You can choose to use a agent when you're on Airbnb or not. So I sort of won't go down that track, but I'll assume that there's that labour that has to go into Airbnb. Now, Billy, I do think something that happens with Airbnb grossly undervalued is labour and headspace and the amount of items that have to go into a property and get reconciled on every changeover of tenants, from pots to pans to bottle openers to televisions to linen service. There's a lot of logistics.
Yeah, definitely. And I haven't had that. I haven't had that first, changeover as such. So I can't speak for how much work in hours it's going to take, but I can already see there's a lot of preparation that has gone into it at this point. And I have no doubt that almost preparing a hotel room. I used to help Mum with a bit of cleaning a while ago, and we used to sort of flip over little chalets, sort of like hotel rooms, and you could smash 3 or 4 in a day, and you get good money for it. But it took a full day to do it, or half a day, so it was a lot of work. But I think, like you said, what gets people motivated to get it on Airbnb is the dollars. Let me give you an example.
Yeah.
So when I purchased the property, the rental estimate return that they had in their brochure was 400 to 425 a week. And I was thinking, wow, that's low. I'm just on my realestate.com looking at other normal rentals around here. And I think that should be closer to 450 minimum in a normal day, And then I look on Airbnb and I see places going for around, so the previous landlord also had it on Airbnb. I forgot to mention that. He had it on at 80 to 85 a night, and so you do the maths on that. You're almost $150 plus over the 400 mark. So it starts to make a little bit more sense. Then you have the cleaning fee and a service fee that automatically get charged. And then you start to really make some money compared to a $400 a week rental.
And Billy, I don't mind if you want to take the position of pro Airbnb, and I'll take the position as pro realestate.com, like a conventional rental. But how long will the music play for? Will it play for 30 days, a month? Will it play for 12 months of a year? Will it play for 365 days a year at what you're suggesting? Is this a Christmas thing that happens purely over the Christmas period?
Well, I was going to say that. I think, fortunately, I've landed myself in the best time of the year to have this set up. So it could almost give a bit of a false reality to what it could be over the 12-month period. But keeping in mind, like you said at the start of the show, I'm only looking at this right now as a 3 to 6 month model. So I'm not planning on changing this into a permanent fixture, long term.
And so I think, guys and girls, before we go, things to consider if you're going to be doing Airbnb, if you're going to be doing a realestate.com, your time is probably the number one.
Yep.
And very close behind it is your vacancy. I think you can generally say that your vacancy is going to be not much on a realestate.com rental, for example, like a regular rental, a 12 or 6 month lease. And I think you can generally say with you'll be in and out of vacancy periods when you've got it on Airbnb. I do have to say, I think the real estate model of 12 and 6 month leases is absolutely archaic. It is a ridiculously dated model, the way we currently operate. Airbnb is not doing the 30-page leases. Airbnb is not doing 4-week bonds. Airbnb does not require an inspection of the property like a 6 or 12 month lease property does. There are so many. It is so stringent and so regulated on a 6 or 12 month lease, and with your routine inspection, with your ingoing inspections and stuff like that. I'd suggest times are going to change for the real estate industry pretty damn fast, because the way it's operated for the last 30 years has not changed. So Airbnb's given the real estate industry a run for its money with its old-fashioned ways, the leasing industry, and I think that the modelling of our leasing industry should be changing. You should be able to take a property sight unseen. You should be able to take a property on a 1-week lease, even if you're going to stay there for 12 months. Because the reality is, are you going to move in your furniture and for any shorter? It's unlikely. You're going to be there for 6, 12, 18, 36 months anyway. So I think that whole lease term thing's probably a bit of rubbish now and pretty dated.
It's a good point. One thing, when we're talking about labour and where you value your time, one thing I do like about Airbnb is it does give you the option to have a minimum night stay requirement. So I've set that at 2 nights currently. So it means, for 24-hour period, I can guarantee that I've got a couple $100 coming in net. So that's after all the expenses. And I'm not up there every day. And then as a bit of a convenience factor, I've set up a window where it blocks 24 hours after every booking. And that gives me time to go up there, do a clean. I'm not in a rush. I don't have to be there before 10 a.m. The next guest is coming in. It just makes the logistics a little bit easier. And obviously you do lose that 24-hour period of potential earning money, but just from a logistics perspective, it makes things a lot more sensible. And that means, someone with a full-time job like myself can manage both. I've got the opportunity to get a booking, and I had an inquiry last night for 20 days straight. And 20 days straight, that's awesome. That means some really good money coming through. And it means 20 days I don't have to worry about anything. But it also means I can take the 2-day booking and I can work that around a full-time job. So, it gives you an extra earning potential.
Interesting. And at the moment, people are going bananas on Airbnb. Everywhere's booked out. It's very hard to find a property, and Airbnb is absolutely smashing it with holiday rentals at the moment. So I think for December and for January in most parts, it's a great concept if you'd like to lease out your property just exclusively for that period or parts of that period, and it's a great concept that realestate.com just can't compete with. And look, a lot of people, that's the way a lot of people pay for their own holidays. They'll put their own home on Airbnb while they go away, and that cash they'll use while they're away.
Yeah, it's brilliant, really. I mean, in this day and age, it makes no sense to have an empty property if you're away. It does not make one sense at all. You can set the minimum night stay where you're going to get a booking for maybe a week plus. Just get a family or a friend member to help you out, do a quick clean, and you're making money. I think it was probably more, I certainly remember when we were, young kids and mum and dad would take us away on a holiday or whatever, the property would be sitting empty for a few weeks.
All the time. Well, you need double the amount of property. If all of Australia goes on holidays and doesn't rent out their own property, you need double the amount of accommodation that Australia offers.
And this is so accessible to everyone. That's just got a bit of time in their day to help out. And if you don't have the network around you, like family, to help out, you know, you can employ a cleaner or employ someone that will take a cut of the commission.
Real estate agents will also do it. There's real estate agencies that will also do it for you. So it's a great way to earn a bit of money. But do not underestimate the pain. Billy, it's a little bit different for you because it's an investment property already that you're not attached to. But if it is your home, your Airbnb, and you know every nook and cranny, everything that's scratched or not scratched, damaged or undamaged, you can come back and it hurts a little bit. So just bear that in mind. I personally have done an Airbnb with where there was over 100 people partying in my house. And and the speakers were as big as fridges, and it is a very, very painful process if you don't get it right. So there is risk associated, but there is huge rewards associated. But be prepared, I would say, for the labour, and be prepared for the vacancy when you're doing your maths. Don't get fooled on that per night tariff and get taken away and swept away with that.
Yeah, we can do a review episode, Mark. Give it a couple months.
Be interesting. Yeah, that's right. On yours,
Hey,
mate. Take care. Have a great day, and thank you, Billy. I hope we've helped people out there, eh?
Cheers, Mark. Thank you. Cheers, guys.
Cheers, mate.